Goals are amazing, except when they're not. I had this really amazing conversation with one of my clients a couple of weeks ago around her relationship to goals and how the goal was actually the thing that was getting in the way of her taking action. And it's a perfect example of how there is no one size fits all when it comes to us creating transformation. So this week in the podcast, what we're going to do is we're going to look at how do we create a healthy relationship to goals so they work for us and they don't work against us. This is Monterastelli, and welcome to the Tapping Q&A podcast, recorded live to tape from Williamsburg in Brooklyn. This is episode 605, originally aired April 3rd, 2024. Hi, everyone. I hope this finds you well wherever you are and whatever time of day you're getting a chance to listen to this. Thanks for spending a little time with me today. Now, when it comes to us creating change in our life, there's four basic things that we need. We need to have a goal. We need to have a plan. We need to have the skills and resources to execute the plan. And then we need to be in the right resource state and the right mindset to be able to execute that plan. And I am sure you are in a circumstance where you are used to understanding the resistance that we can feel to taking action. I'm afraid it's not going to work out. I'm going to be judged for putting myself out there. I failed before, I'm going to fail again. And tapping is a really powerful tool in helping us to transform that particular thing. But there's another type of resistance that can show up in there, and that is the resistance to the goal itself. Now, before we dive in and talk about that, I'm going to be talking about tapping as we work our way through this. Tapping is the tool that I love to use to create transformation and clearing resistance. Resistance about taking action and resistance about having goals, which we're going to talk about in just a moment. If you are new to tapping, all you need to do is follow the little red arrow in the upper corner there. Click on that link. It will take you to learn2tap.com. There, you will learn the basics of tapping, so it's so much easier for you to use this amazing tool set. Over the last number of months, inside of my Authentic Action Academy, I have been teaching my students what I call the Authentic Action Framework. This is the way I think about moving from where I am to where I want to be, how I figure out what are the actions I want to take, what are the resistances that are getting in the way, and how do I clear those particular resistances so that I consistently take action. Because the reality is, to create an authentic life, we need to persistently, though not necessarily perfectly, take authentic action. And so really every single one of my days begins with a structure to help me to clear that resistance and to take action. And so that's what the entire framework is how do we name and work with all of those things as we step into it. And so the first part of this is we need to name where we want to go. We need to have a goal because it's really difficult to move forward if you don't have a direction that you're heading. Now, the goal doesn't have to be perfect for us to start taking action, but we at least need a direction. And as we take action, oftentimes that goal becomes more in focus, which makes it easier for us to move forward. So after teaching that, I had a couple of weeks ago a client call with one of my students in that particular class. And we're going to call her Debbie just to make it easy. And so Debbie was mentioning to me the fact that she did not want to have goals and she was resisting having goals. And the reason why she was resisting having goals is she's retired. And she's like, I don't want to work towards anything anymore. I've spent my entire life working, which led us to this really amazing conversation about outcome goals and how we can change what we're trying to achieve. It's not just about doing something. But inside of that, there's something much more important that just doesn't apply to folks who are in a point where they're retired and they want to enjoy themselves. But it's something that relates to all of us when it comes to taking action. And that is our relationship to goals. Now, if you spent any time listening to any of the content I've created, you know how much I like goals. I think they're super, super useful. My life has changed in so many ways because I consistently come up with goals and I work towards them. But the moment we give ourselves a goal, it's really easy for that all of a sudden to feel like homework because it's something we have to do because it's important. And I don't know about you, but I don't like homework. So much so, for years and years and years, my bio actually read Gene Monterastelli graduated from the Catholic University of America with a degree in computer science. And then parenthetically it said, which means he never has to do homework ever again. And our relationship to having to do something isn't just about an academic setting. But if you think about the first 12 to 18 years of your life, there were so many things you did not have control over. You didn't control when you got up, when you went to bed, what you studied, who your friends were, what you did with your free time, when you had to do chores, what you ate, all of those things that the adults in our lives, and most of the time in a good intentioned way, were trying to provide for us so we could have a healthy childhood, or they were just trying to survive themselves and were just creating constraints to manage us. And so we spent all of this time being told what to do. And the thing that I think that we forget about is how much agency and control we actually wanted to have at that point in our lives. I can remember in 1980, I was so annoyed because I did not get to vote in the presidential election. I was 6 years old, and I was annoyed that I didn't get to vote for president. And my mother said, well, at school, you guys are doing an election. I said, no, that's a game. That's not the real election. Now, granted, I was not your typical 6-year-old, but what that shows is at 6, I had desires and agency, and the system was not allowing me to execute those particular things. And this isn't necessarily a bad thing, because there are a lot of kids, if they had their way, they would never sleep and they'd only eat candy. And, that's not a healthy way to grow and develop. But because of this, we develop a natural resistance to being told what to do. And so we can put ourselves in a circumstance where the moment we feel like we're being told what to do in a particular setting, we're going to resist that. Even if we're in a circumstance where the thing that we are being told what to do is the goal that we have created. I have a to-do list that is sitting right here by my side, and those are all of the things I have to do today. Those are my homework as I work on my business. And so the moment it gets written down, it's really easy for me to feel like I've lost that agency. And that little 6-year-old part of me that wants control of my life starts to throw a temper tantrum and starts to resist. So even before we get into the resistance about the action, about how it might be unsafe or how I might fail or how it isn't the right fit, I'm already resisting the fact that I have to be doing something. And that's where Debbie was coming from in our conversation. She's like, I'm retired. I don't want to have a goal that I have to be working towards. I'm tired of working. So in order for us to transform this, what we need to do is we need to create a new relationship to our goals. And so for me, there's kind of 4 parts of this that help me to change my relationship to my goal. So emotionally, I'm not feeling like I have to resist that thing. And so those 4 basic components are, I would like to do this. By simply stating out loud, it would be really cool if I achieve. That's the way I write my goals. It would be really cool if. Well, it would be really cool if. That's not a homework assignment. That's not a have to. That's a me stating energetically and emotionally how I would like to engage with this outcome, which makes it easier for me to do it. The second part is when I'm stating a goal, it will benefit me because, when we were super, super young and we were given these things to do, we were just told what to do. Rarely was it ever explained to us why it was a good idea for us to do the things that we were told to do. And so if I'm in a circumstance where I can recognize the benefit that comes from it, it makes it easier for me to engage with it. The third thing I do is I give myself permission to change my mind. Just because I've stated it as a goal doesn't mean that it is chiseled in stone or tattooed on my forearm as this sacred commitment of what I'm always going to do. Because the reality is, as we engage with stuff, We learn. We learn about the outcome. We learn about our ability. We learn about our preferences. There have been lots of times where I've actually achieved something, and when I got there, I was like, oh, that really wasn't as great as I thought it was going to be, or it wasn't as useful as I thought it was going to be. And so I change my relationship to that particular thing. And then finally, I give myself permission to stop or quit if I want to. Just because I've started something doesn't mean I have to continue towards it. They're some of the best choices I've ever made in my entire life are stopping the things I was spending time and energy on so that I could create the space to do the thing that serves me, or I could let go of the thing that was not giving me what I needed, or to let go of the thing that was actually hurting me. We're allowed to change our mind. So I state the fact that I would like to do it. I name the benefit or it. I give myself permission to change my mind about the specifics, and I even give myself permission to quit. And so what I want you to do, we're going to do a little tapping right now. I want you to just take a nice big deep breath. And if you're in a space that's safe and comfortable to do that, I encourage you to tap out loud as we're doing it and repeat after me. What I want you to do is I want you to think about something that you would like to achieve, a goal that you have. And I'm just, as we tap, going to say this goal. And you're going to know what that actually means for you. So tap on the side of your hand, take a nice big deep breath, and just tune into that goal and repeat after me. I recognize the fact I have named a goal. And the reason why I have named this goal is I think it will benefit me in some way. But on a subconscious level, when I name a goal, it is super easy for me to turn that into a homework assignment. It's very easy to feel as if it is something I have to do. And there is a very young part of me that was told what to do all of the time. And because it was told what to do all of the time, it wants to resist being told what to do. And even when I am choosing the goal, this part of me feels like I'm being told what to do. And I give myself permission to recognize the fact I have chosen this goal. It was not assigned to me. I don't have to do this. It is not homework. But instead it is something that I am choosing. I also recognize the fact I am choosing this goal because it will benefit me. And as we tap, I'm going to have you complete the sentences here. This goal will benefit me by, and to state one of the benefits. This goal will benefit me by. This goal will benefit me by. I also give myself permission to know I'm allowed to change my mind. I'm allowed to redefine the goal. I'm allowed to recalibrate the goal. It is not set in stone. It is not a sacred contract. It is a direction to help me create something that I love. As I take action, I will learn new things. I will act in new ways, which means the goal might change. And it is allowed to change. I also give myself permission to know I'm even allowed to stop. I can give up on this goal if I recognize it no longer serves me. And that is not a failing. If I do that, that is simply me setting myself up for the next type of success. My goals are tools which are malleable to serve me. I am allowed to change and reevaluate my goals to serve me. Nice big deep breath. I want you to tune back into your goal. What is your relationship to that goal now? Has it softened a little bit? Maybe there's parts of you that are actually digging in and wanting to fight back, which is great. That resistance that comes up as we tap just tells you that there's more tapping to do. You can go back to what we started with, or you can tap on the next little lever of resistance that has come up. But the thing that is so important is to recognize the goal of the goal is not to achieve the goal. The goal is a tool to help us to create a better life. And so when the goal stops serving us, when the goal feels like a burden, it's no longer serving us. As we either need to let go of the goal or change our relationship to that goal. So I hope you found that a little bit helpful as you were trying to take action and navigate your day. If you'd like more insight in how you can create transformation in your life, take more authentic action, on screen right now, you'll see a playlist of all the past podcasts where you can continue to dive in, create transformation, and move forward.